Enzo said he would pick me up when I returned from work and take me home. I waited in the lounge for a long time, and then he sent me a message. Something came up unexpectedly. I can't come to pick you up. While sitting in the taxi, I saw the update from his childhood female friend. In the photo, the man was wearing an engagement ring identical to mine. The caption read, "Thank you, brother Enzo, for pretending to be my boyfriend to help me avoid a blind date. If it were before, I might have been furious and sent him a text message to question him, but this time I just commented, 'There's no need to pretend anymore.' The day I took off my engagement ring, he knelt down and begged me. He said, 'It's all my fault. Don't leave me. Welcome to Love Story.' A week ago, Enzo and I had an appointment to try on wedding dresses, but I waited for a long time and he didn't show up. I sat alone in the bridal shop watching couples coming and going, and waited until the shop closed. When I got home at night, I saw the update from his childhood female friend. In the photo, the side profile of the man driving the car was well defined. The caption was, 'I couldn't get a taxi in the suburbs. Fortunately, brother Enzo could come and take me home.' When Enzo came back that day, I had a big fight with him. I hysterically questioned him, 'Isn't the matter of our wedding more important than not being able to get a taxi?' But he just said softly, 'If you think that way, I can't do anything about it.' Then a Cold War started between us. To be precise, it was a one-sided Cold War on Enzo's part. He didn't reply to my messages, didn't answer my calls, and even when we lived under the same roof, he ignored me. In this relationship, he always stood arrogantly on the high ground. Almost every quarrel between us over the years ended with my apology. He could lose his temper at me without restraint, but as soon as I questioned him, he would stop talking to me until I apologized, or he forgave me. But that time before I could apologize, I received the business trip arrangement from the company. I was arranged to go on a business trip to country A for a week. During that week, I was so overwhelmed by work that I didn't have the mood to coax Enzo, and I didn't even have time to think about that matter. The day before getting on the plane to return home, I received a message from Enzo. "I'll pick you up at the airport tomorrow. Remember to wait for me." I knew he wanted to make peace. After getting off the plane, I sent Enzo a message, "I'm here, waiting for you." As a result, instead of Enzo, I received his message. Something came up unexpectedly. "I can't come to pick you up." I took a look and didn't reply. I dragged my luggage and walked in the airport alone. The luggage was heavy. When going downstairs, I sprained my ankle. I limped into a taxi. While in the taxi, I saw the update from his childhood female friend. The man in the photo was wearing an engagement ring just like mine. "Thank you, brother Enzo, for pretending to be my boyfriend to help me avoid a blind date. I didn't keep sending him messages to question him as I used to. I just silently commented, 'There's no need to pretend anymore.' It was already late at night when I got home, and Enzo wasn't home yet. I put away my luggage. The sprained ankle had swollen up. I endured the pain, took a shower, and then went straight to bed. I was so tired that I hadn't slept for nearly 20 hours and soon fell asleep. In the middle of the night, I heard the sound of the door opening, and the light was turned on. It was Enzo who came back. He stood by the bed looking at me with dissatisfaction, probably because I didn't reply to his "something came up unexpectedly, I can't come to pick you up." This was the first time that our conversation ended with his words. The glaring light shone into my eyes, forcing me to respond to him. "You're back." He frowned and clicked his tongue impatiently, seemingly annoyed by my abnormality. After all, I didn't wait for him until late at night as usual. He turned off the light with a snap, turned around and left. Then the sound of him washing up in the bathroom came. I fell asleep again. The next morning, as if trying to make up for me, Enzo said he would drive me to work. In fact, if he paid a little attention to me, he would surely notice how awkward my walking posture was, and how swollen my left ankle was. I sent a message to the company asking for leave, and planned to go to the hospital to see my injury today. While having breakfast, I replied, "No need to send me." He suddenly got a bit angry and left a sentence, "Whatever." When going out, he slammed the door shut. After having breakfast, I lay back down to rest. I didn't go to the hospital until the afternoon. The doctor prescribed some medicine for external use, and kept reminding me to rest more recently, and try not to stand for a long time. So, I left the hospital limping with a bag of medicine. When I got home the light was on. Enzo was sitting on the sofa with a very bad complexion. To be honest, I didn't know what he was unhappy about. I walked to the kitchen on my own, and was about to start making dinner. As soon as I opened the fridge, I heard the footsteps behind me. I went to your company to pick you up. Your colleague said you asked for leave. Where did you go today? If you didn't go to the company. I bent down, picked up the bag of medicine and put it on the table. I went to the hospital to get treated today. I sprained my ankle while carrying luggage yesterday. Only then did he lower his head and see my swollen ankle. His complexion turned a bit ugly. Yesterday Bonnie was forced by her family to go on a blind date with a man 8 years older than her. She really couldn't find anyone, so she came to me. Before he could finish, I interrupted him. It's okay, Enzo. You two grew up together, it's right for you to help her. He wanted to say something more, but I pushed him out of the kitchen. I'm going to cook. You'd better wait outside. This time I didn't cook the spicy dishes he loved. Most of them were light. He loves spicy food. While I was born in Nanching, eating too much spicy food gives me a stomachache. But every time I cook, I make spicy dishes. Even when we eat out, we mostly choose Hunan cuisine. But today I suddenly really wanted to eat something light. During dinner at night he stared at the dishes on the table. Elena, why isn't there a single spicy dish today? I scooped a spoonful of tofu and soup for myself. I want to eat something light today. If you want to eat spicy food, you can order a takeout, he suddenly asked. Elena, are you angry? I continued to eat with my head down. No, I've always liked light food. Looking up, I saw Enzo's astonished expression. It turned out that he never knew that I liked light food. Previously I might have been angry and had a big fight with him. Now I just found it funny. At night when I was lying on the bed, he hugged me in his arms, coaxing me, and saying, are you going to work tomorrow? During the days when your foot is getting better, I'll pick you up and send you to work every day. If it were me before, I would have happily hugged him back then, kissed him to express my love wholeheartedly, but now I just subtly broke free from his embrace. Okay, thank you. I felt the body behind me stiffen a bit, but I ignored it. That night I slept soundly. The next day when Enzo was driving me to work, I was sitting in the passenger seat and wanted to touch up my lipstick. When I opened the mirror in front, piece of paper fell out. There was a bright red lip print on it. Seeing this, Enzo quickly explained, a few days ago when I was sending Bonnie home, she said she saw this in a video and thought it was fun, so she wanted to try it. I started touching up my lipstick in front of the mirror. Yeah, it is quite fun. I really have nothing going on with her. Trust me. After touching up my lipstick, I just smiled at him and didn't say anything. His expression turned a bit ugly. Aren't you angry? Why should I be angry? It's normal to share something fun with a childhood playmate. Just as Enzo was about to explain further, I had already put the paper back in the mirror. We drove all the way to the company in silence. Before I got out of the car, he grabbed me and said, I'll pick you up tonight, wait for me. I gently freed my hand. Okay. As I got out of the car, I happened to meet my boss. She teased me, your boyfriend is so nice, he even drives you to work. Seeing how good your relationship is, I guess I really can't persuade you to join my team. My boss is planning to start her own company. Since the new company is just starting, she's in need of trustworthy hands. I've been working with her for years, so she offered me an invitation first, even offering me twice my current salary. My boss's new company is in Nanching, which is also my hometown. She thought I would agree without hesitation, but I refused her at that time, saying that I didn't want to be in a long-distance relationship with Enzo. Enzo has always wanted to settle down in Beijing. He said Beijing is his dream place, so I've never thought about living anywhere other than Beijing in the future. I smiled and pressed the elevator button. Zoe, if you try to persuade me to join you again now, I'll definitely say yes. My boss thought I was just joking. She casually said, come and work with me. I'll give you double the salary and some stock options. Will you come? Definitely. When shall I go to Nanching? My boss looked at me in disbelief, as if she had heard something incredible. I repeated it and then, my boss came to her senses. Aren't you staying in Beijing with your boyfriend? I smiled. Well, my life can't always revolve around him. When I got off work in the evening, the familiar black car was parked at the entrance of the company. Before I could get close enough to open the car door, the window of the passenger seat rolled down. First I saw Bonnie's face sitting in the passenger seat. She said to me, Sister Daphne, Enzo and I came to pick you up today. I ignored her, reached out to open the door of the back seat and got in. Seeing me sitting in the back seat without saying a word, Enzo said nervously, Bonnie had a big fight with her family today. She happened to be near me, so I picked her up on the way. You're not angry, are you? Before I could say anything, Bonnie cut in. Brother Enzo, Sister Elena is so kind, she surely won't be angry. Then Bonnie turned around and smiled at me. Right, Sister Elena? I smiled and looked out of the window. Yeah, there's nothing to be angry about. All the way Bonnie kept chatting with Enzo, while I quietly looked at the materials my boss sent me today. Enzo parked the car in front of a Hunan restaurant. Elena, let's eat out today. You're tired from work, so you don't need to cook for us when we get home. His tone was like he was doing me a favor. Moreover, he chose this Hunan restaurant according to his and Bonnie's taste. After we entered, Bonnie handed me the menu. Sister Elena, you've been working so hard. You order whatever you like. I took the menu and randomly pointed at a few dishes on the menu for the waiter. When the dishes were served, there were steamed eggs, fried tofu, garlic shrimp, and pork with preserved vegetable. There were 7 or 8 dishes in total, but not a single one was spicy. Both Bonnie and Enzo's faces turned a bit unpleasant. Bonnie tugged at Enzo's sleeve and said, Brother Enzo, why are there no spicy dishes? Doesn't Sister Elena know you love spicy food? Enzo said to me. Elena, what kind of dishes did you order? Don't you know our taste? I picked up a shrimp and put it in my bowl. Bonnie said one could order what I like, so I did. After I said this, they didn't know how to react. During the meal, Bonnie mentioned the wedding dress trying thing again. Sister Elena, I'm really sorry about last time. I went to the suburbs alone to do something, and then I couldn't get a taxi back. I was so scared that I asked Brother Enzo to pick me up. If I had heard this before, I probably would have left the table without even finishing my meal, but now I just replied indifferently, it's okay. It's just about trying on a wedding dress. It's not a big deal. Sister Elena must look really beautiful in a wedding dress. I wish I could see it. Then Bonnie, you can come with us next time. You study fashion design, so you can come and help Elena have a look. Really, can I, Brother Enzo? Let's go next Saturday then. We'll go together next Saturday. They just kept chatting like this, not needing my consent at all. It seemed like I was the outsider. It was the same before, when Enzo and I went shopping in the mall. Bonnie showed up and I was left behind all the time. I got angry and quarreled with him outside. Enzo just said, Bonnie is in a bad mood today. Why are you so fussy? I'm the one you're going to spend your life with. Do you really have to care about just a few hours? Even when a shop assistant said they were well matched, Enzo just smiled and didn't refute. And now it's the same again. I casually said, we'll see, I might not be available that day. Enzo's tone became a bit impatient when he heard this. It's the weekend that day. You're not working on weekends. Are you still that busy? I thought about the thing of going to Nanching with Zoe. Before going to Nanching, I have to resign from my current company, get familiar with the new business, and build good relationships with some client companies. There will surely be a lot of gift giving and dining on weekends. But I didn't want to tell Enzo directly, so I casually made up an excuse. Some foreign clients will come to our company at the end of the month. We need to prepare the plans and PPTs in advance. There will be a lot of revisions. I guess I'll have to work overtime on the weekend. Previously, every time we talked about anything related to the wedding, I was very excited. I could even say that I couldn't wait to design the wedding cards myself. On the day of choosing the venue, I even took a leave from the company to match Enzo's schedule. But now, when I told him I wasn't sure, using work as an excuse, Enzo's face turned very ugly. But in the End he just picked up the bill and said, "I'll go pay." After we got home, Enzo couldn't hold back his temper and exploded. "Elena, are you still angry about me leaving you alone at the bridal shop? Last time it was really a sudden situation. Bonnie is a girl. What if she was in danger?" I smiled and said, "I'm not angry, Enzo. You don't need to explain to me." His face turned sour again, and I quickly perfunctorily said, "If I'm free on Saturday, I'll definitely go." I used to coax him, because I didn't want to quarrel, and was afraid that Enzo would keep pestering me. Now I just think it's troublesome, and don't want to waste time arguing with him. On Saturday, Enzo sent me a message, "Elena, I'm at the bridal shop now. Remember to come over when you're done with your work." At that time I was having a meal with clients to discuss a new tender. I replied to him, "I'm really not available today. Maybe next time." By the time the dinner was over, it was already night. Sitting in the car on my way home, I saw Bonnie's update again. In the photo, Bonnie was wearing a white wedding dress, with her arm linked through a man's. I knew it was Enzo. Having been with Enzo for 8 years, I knew everything about him too well. The caption read, "Experienced the joy of wearing a wedding dress with Enzo." Enzo liked that update, and many people who didn't know the truth commented below, wishing them a long-lasting relationship. This kind of situation had happened countless times before. Every time I would have a big fight with him, and he would frown and blame me for being unreasonable. This isn't something I can control. Besides, Bonnie just posted a photo. Those people are just joining in the fun. But this time, I just silently commented below, "Yeah, you two look well matched." When I opened the door, I saw Enzo sitting on the sofa, staring at me without saying a word. I knew he was waiting for me to apologize and coax him. His current look was exactly the same as before the Cold War, but I just walked around him and entered the bathroom. In fact, it's quite good that he's having a Cold War with me now. This way I can focus on the things at hand. After I finish all the things and confirm the time to go to Nanching, I'll break up with him. 2 days later, when I was working overtime at the company, I received a call from Enzo. As soon as I answered, his questioning voice came through the receiver. "Why haven't you come home yet? Where are you? Why haven't you sent me a single message?" This was the first time in all these years that I received a call from Enzo during a Cold War. In the past, no matter what the situation was, I would take the initiative to report my whereabouts to him and cook a meal that he could eat as soon as he got home. In fact, I had questioned him, just as he questioned me. But he would always just say, "I don't care about you. Why do you care so much about me? Can't I have some space of my own? Do you only know how to revolve around me?" Once I even heard him say to his friend, "I'm so annoyed. She just keeps asking me where I am all day long." Later, when I called, he started to reject my calls. When he got tired of rejecting, he would block me. Thinking of those, I said coldly, "I'm working overtime at the company. I'm too busy." There was a long silence on the other side. Then he said, "I'll come pick you up later. It's not safe to be out too late." "No need." Before I could finish, Enzo had already hung up the phone. When I got off work and reached downstairs, I still saw the familiar black car. I opened the door and got in, not saying a word. Leaning back on the seat and closing my eyes to rest, the atmosphere in the car was so quiet that we could hear each other's breathing. Before, I was always the one trying to find topics to talk to him, but in the end I would always get a reply like, "Don't distract me while I'm driving." The ringing of the phone broke the dull atmosphere in the car. Ding, ding. It was Enzo's phone, and the caller ID showed Bonnie. He glanced at me and hung up the phone, but soon the ding-ding ringtone rang again. He was about to hang up again, but I directly picked up the phone, answered it, and handed it to him. He was stunned for a moment. Before answering, Bonnie's voice echoed in the car. Through the phone receiver, her tone was tinged with a bit of crying and drunkenness. "I drank too much outside. My friends have all gone home. I'm so scared, brother Enzo. Can you come and pick me up?" Enzo looked at me and said, "I'll call a taxi for you." Bonnie still persisted. "I feel unsafe taking a taxi at night. There are so many news reports about it. Brother Enzo, can't you really come and pick me up?" Enzo looked at me, hesitating to speak. as if he hoped to get some response from me. I knew what he was thinking. In fact, it wasn't the first or second time that Bonnie called him in the middle of the night to pick her up, and several times it was when he was on his way to pick me up. Then he would drop me off at a convenience store, about 2 kilometers away from home, and let me walk home by myself. We had quarreled about this before. Is it not dangerous for me to walk home alone in the middle of the night, while Bonnie is in danger? He would impatiently tell me to get out of the car. What could happen in just 2 kilometers? You're really unreasonable. Do you really have to compare yourself with Bonnie? This time I packed my things and said, "It's okay. You can drop me off at the usual place." But he didn't agree this time. "Elena, I'll take you home first. It's not safe at night." I laughed and said, "I can walk back by myself. What could happen in just 2 kilometers? He was stunned for a moment, as if he found these words familiar. In the end, he still dropped me off at the entrance of the convenience store. Before I got out of the car, he grabbed me and said, "Wait for me at home. I'll be back soon." It was already 10 o'clock when I got home. I took a shower and was about to go to bed. I didn't plan to wait for Enzo, because I had to fly to Nanjing with Zoe the next morning. The resignation handover was almost done, and I had taken care of the resources here. Many client companies said they would try to give some projects to Zoe's new company. Currently all that's left are some initial matters in Nanjing. After the things in Nanjing are settled, at the latest within half a month, I'll move back to Nanjing. I had a good night's sleep. When I woke up the next day, Enzo still hadn't come home. I opened my phone and saw a lot of messages from him. "Bonnie is really drunk. I can't leave. I won't come back tonight. Go to bed early. Don't wait for me." Looking at the time of the messages, it was 4 o'clock in the morning. If it were me before, I would probably have waited foolishly for a whole night, and then felt sad and pained when I saw these messages. I casually replied with "or okay," and then started making breakfast. I made 2 servings in total. After I finished mine, I put the other one in the fridge, left a sticky note on the table, and then started packing my luggage and headed to the airport. These days in Nanjing were very busy. I was constantly running around in many places every day. I was tired, but also very fulfilled. I even forgot about Enzo. During my spare time from work, I made a trip back home. My parents were very happy to see me. They cooked a big table of my favorite dishes themselves. Mom kept putting food on my plate, and the food in front of me almost piled up like a small mountain. "Elena, you haven't been home for a long time. Mom misses you so much. Eat more, dear, you've lost weight." My dad then went into the room and took out a small box, handing it to me. "Elena, you haven't come back for all these years. Dad has put the birthday gifts prepared for you every year in it." Under the care of my parents, I couldn't help but say, "Dad, Mom, I'm not going to marry Enzo. I'll come back to live in Nanjing next week." I thought they would ask more questions, but Mom just held my hand with tears in her eyes and said, "Elena, it's good to come back. Then Mom can see you every day." Dad just touched my head and didn't say anything. A sense of guilt welled up in my heart. It turned out that for so many years, I had ignored the people around me for Enzo for such a long time. The day I went back was a night flight. After getting off the plane, more than a dozen missed calls popped up on my phone in a row, all from Enzo. I called him back and his voice immediately came through the receiver. "Elena, have you forgotten what day it is today?" My mind went blank. My first thought was that I would pack my things and go to Nanjing next week. "Elena, today is our 5th anniversary." I was stunned for a moment, and then immediately apologized to him. "Oops, I'm really sorry. It's my fault. I'll go back right now and we can celebrate together. Okay?" I never used to forget our anniversary. Every year on our anniversary, I would take a day off to prepare a surprise. Last year I paid the down payment for a house in Beijing. I hid the contract in a box. I also ordered flowers, a cake, and even prepared champagne. I wanted to say to him, "Enzo, we have our own home now." But that time I waited until very late, but he didn't come back. I called him and the sound of noisy music came from the phone. "I'm having dinner outside with Bonnie. What's up?" I clenched my fists. "Have you forgotten that today is our anniversary?" "Oh, I forgot. If you Didn't mention it. And then why don't you come home? Isn't our anniversary more important than having dinner with Bonnie? He was very impatient. I'm tired. I don't want to quarrel, Enzo, I almost shouted hysterically into the receiver. I prepared this surprise for a whole day. After all these years, is it still necessary? We see each other every day. Celebrating this kind of festival is like playing house. I held back my sadness and asked, so you're not coming back tonight, right? Or, Brother Enzo, I'm sorry. I didn't know today was your anniversary with sister-in-law. Bonnie's voice came from the other side, and the next second the phone was hung up. That night Enzo didn't come back. I smashed the box and drank the whole bottle of champagne. There was a long silence on the other end of the phone. Did you really forget? I said warily. After all these years we've celebrated it every year. Even if we don't celebrate it one year, it's not a big deal. When I got home, Enzo had cooked the dishes. This was the first time he cooked for me. Before he only cooked for Bonnie. He said it was because he and Bonnie grew up together, and it was normal for him to cook for his sister. If I made a fuss, he would frown. Can't you cook? Do you expect me to cook for you after we get married? However, he could cook for others but never for me. I never thought I would get to eat his cooking when I decided to leave. We sat at the dining table to have a meal. Enzo mentioned, Elena, I prepared a surprise for you about our wedding. Suddenly the doorbell rang. I went to open the door and saw Bonnie's face. She looked a bit surprised when she saw me. Sister, Elena, you're back. You've been away from home for a while. I saw that Brother Enzo was too busy alone, so I've been helping you to prepare for the wedding. She handed me a folder. Everything from the wedding venue to the greeting cards had been chosen, but none of them were chosen by me. And not even a single thing was discussed with me. I reached out and took it. So this was the surprise he mentioned. I smiled. I probably won't need these. When Enzo heard this, his expectant expression turned a bit anxious. Elena, what do you mean? Bonnie also joined in. Sister Elena, are you not satisfied with what I chose? As she said this, there was a faint look of pride on her face. As usual, she pretended to be at a loss and pulled Enzo's sleeve. I remained unmoved. Seeing this, Enzo directly shook off Bonnie's hand, and as if trying to prove something, he said eagerly, Bonnie, did I ask you to help with this? Don't come to my house casually. Bonnie's face showed shock. She wanted to say something, but Enzo pushed her out of the door without hesitation. This was the first time I saw Enzo being so harsh to Bonnie. After all, he always took Bonnie's side. Between me and her, I looked at this farce and felt like laughing. I can't marry you, Enzo. His face was full of tension. He stepped forward and grabbed my hand. Elena, you must be joking, right? You can't be serious. I broke free from his hand, took off the wedding ring and put it on the table. Enzo, before I could finish, he hugged me tightly. Elena, is it because of the wedding? I'll definitely wait for you to make the decisions next time. Don't do this to me. I know you must be angry. I know I was wrong. Don't leave me. I smiled and sighed. I'm not angry, really, but he hugged me even tighter. Is it because I got too close to Bonnie? Or because I forgot our anniversary before? Or because I didn't pay enough attention to understand your preferences? Elena, I'm sorry. Tell me and I'll change. I felt it was a bit ironic. After a long time, I sighed softly. Enzo, look. Actually, you always knew what you did wrong. The arms that were holding me loosened. He shot a remorseful expression, and even knelt down in front of me. I'm sorry, Elena, can you forgive me this last time? I took a deep breath. Let's part on good terms. Enzo, there's no need to do this again. When he heard this, his emotions became uncontrollable. I don't believe it. Elena, you must be stimulated by what happened tonight. You have a good rest first, and we'll talk about it in a few days. As he said this, he put the ring on my hand again, and then, as if in a hurry to escape, he quickly grabbed his coat and walked outside. When he reached the door, he suddenly turned back. Elena, think it over again. Then he turned around and left. He didn't come back for the next few days, but I received messages from him every day. On the first day, he shared a picture of a puppy on the roadside saying that he had always wanted to raise one with me. On the second day, he sent a picture of the evening glow. saying that we used to watch it together often and he really missed those times. On the third day, he said he had introduced a blind date partner to Bonnie, and also contacted Bonnie's parents. Bonnie had to get married this year. I didn't reply to him, but he still shared all kinds of things with me every day, just like I used to pursue him. He seemed to think that as long as I was still wearing the engagement ring, we were still together. However, for a relationship, it takes two people's consent to be together, but only one person's decision to break up. So whether Enzo came back or not, I packed my things. Most of them were sent back. All of a sudden the whole house became so clean that it seemed as if I had never lived there. I took off the ring and put it on the table, left a note beside it, and then dragged my suitcase to the airport. The plane took off. Looking at the small map on the back of the seat, I was getting farther and farther away from Beijing, and I felt completely relaxed. As soon as I got off the plane, I saw my parents holding a big sign. I felt quite emotional. Enzo had picked me up from the airport only a handful of times over the years, but my parents were always there waiting to take me home. Thinking of this, I rushed forward and hugged them. When I saw a car full of flowers, I said, "Mom, where are we going to sit?" The butler said, "Madam, we drove 2 cars today to welcome you," and sighed. Miss lived with that poor boy for so long that she forgot that we have many cars. A few days later, Enzo finally found out that I wasn't at home. He kept sending me messages pleading for my forgiveness. "I'm sorry, Elena, I was really wrong. Please come back. Where are you? Can I pick you up and take you home?" The messages kept coming. In the end, I couldn't hold back and blocked him. At that moment, I began to understand what was going through his mind when he blocked me. He really thought I was annoying, really didn't care, and really wasn't that into me. After blocking Enzo, the whole world became much quieter. Number 1 would call me out of the blue, and no one would keep sending me messages every day. During this time in Nanjing, I was busy with the business of the new company every day. I asked my father for investment. Now the new company has gradually gotten on the right track and I don't have to work, because I also had second largest share in the company. One day I went home early for a change, but I saw Enzo downstairs in the community. He seemed to haven't shaved for a long time, and his whole appearance was marked by fatigue. As soon as he saw me, he immediately walked towards me and grabbed my hand. "Elena, come back with me." To be honest, I never thought Enzo would chase me to Nanjing and wait for me in my parents' community. Seeing that I didn't speak, he held my hand even tighter. "Elena, when I couldn't find you, I went to your company to wait for you, but your colleague said you had left your job. I was arranged to go on a business trip to country A for a week. During that week, I was so overwhelmed by work that I didn't have the mood to coax Enzo, and I didn't even have time to think about that matter. But then I came to your uncle and aunt's house to look for you. But your uncle drove me out with a broom. I'm sorry, Daphne. I really know I was wrong. Come back with me." To be honest, this was the first time Enzo had taken the initiative to talk so much to me. In the past, the one who took the initiative to make peace and talk at length was always me. Only now did I realize how ridiculous I was back then. I quietly pulled out my hand. "We've broken up. I won't go back with you, and I won't marry you either." At that moment his face turned ashen, and the hand hanging in the air didn't retract for a long time. "Enzo, we'd been together for 5 years, from our student days to the stage of talking about marriage. Over the years I really wanted to have a home with you. I always centered my life around you. But you thought I was annoying like this. Not? You're free and so am I." He stepped forward again and grabbed my hand, making a last-ditch effort. "I was wrong. I also want to have a home with you, and a future with you." I smiled softly. "It's over, Enzo. There won't be a future for us anymore, but we will each have our own futures." The hand that was holding me dropped, and he was like a puppet that had lost its vitality. In the end, I couldn't bear it and said, "Enzo, we've known each other for so many years. Look forward. I still hope you'll live a good life." After saying that, I turned around and left. Enzo didn't chase after me this time, but I heard him crying. This was the first time I heard Enzo cry. His voice was extremely hoarse, but it had nothing to do with me anymore. He won't be in my future anymore. I had my own company, own family, and own happiness. My future is bright. End.